the day. Micah Parsons just landed the richest payday ever for an NFL defensive player. Average salary of $47 million per annum. That's just ahead of T.J. Watt, who signed his deal a month ago. In fact, all 5 of the highest paid defenders in NFL history signed those deals this offseason, and they would be in perfect reverse chronological order if you just switched, Hunter and Garrett there, Jeremy Fowler. Parsons and not pictured. Trey Hendrickson on that graphic. They got deals done after the final preseason game.
Yeah.
Take us through them both, starting with the Thursday night blockbuster for Parsons.
Parsons is getting a massive deal, not only resetting the pass rush market, but he will pocket more than $60 million in the next calendar year, I'm told. Signing bonus above $40 million. We're looking at $136 million guaranteed. The Cowboys will point out, by the way, that they offered more guaranteed money than that, and Parsons still didn't take it, but that was over a 5-year contract. This is over 4 years, so Parsons gets more money in his pocket now with Green Bay than he had set up previously. Trey Hendrickson, a little bit of a different situation. He wanted that pass rush money too. He had to settle for basically a reworked 1-year deal that instead of paying his former $16 million, they now pay him $30. So the way he saw it, hey, $14 million raise for this 1 year, and then he hits free agency. He had a bit of a tough call, but I was told it wasn't a tough call at all because the Bengals offered him about $79 million over 2 years on top of the $16 million he already had. So that would have been $95 million over 3 years. Sounds pretty good, but the guarantees were bad. It was only guaranteed the first year, which is like $33 million. So he said, I'm just going to take what this last offer, pocket the 30, and then I'll go hit it big in free agency at age 31.
Oh, and he's trending the right way to bet on himself. 17.5 sacks a year ago. We often fail to cite, he also had 17.5 the year before that. He just didn't lead the league, so we don't talk about it as much. Hey, it's exactly 1 week until Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs kick off their 2025 season against the Chargers in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Could this also be the start of the final season for Travis Kelce? Let's see how we got here. Kelce set career lows last season in receiving yards and receiving touchdowns, also yards per catch. That said, still led KC in receiving yards for a 7th time. Kelce made his 2025 return official, texting Pat McAfee live on air, quote, "My dog, I'm coming back for sure. Got a real bad taste in my mouth with how I played that last game. I can't go out like that." He also can't talk about his offseason without mentioning recent engagement to Taylor Swift. The two made it IG official this Tuesday in a post with 34 million likes and counting. But his QB isn't sure this is it for Kelce. Here's Patrick Mahomes in May on his tight end's future.
If it's the last ride, you would never know. I mean, the way he's talking about football, the way he's talking about working and trying to be even better this year than he was last year. I mean, he's not. It doesn't seem like a guy that it's his last ride. Like he's tired of the job.
Mahomes has liked what he's seen this summer, Mina. We know Rashee Rice is suspended the first 6 games. How important is it for Travis Kelce to statistically turn back the clock?
Well, it's going to be important early on, which is what makes the Rice suspension so challenging for Kansas City, because I think the ideal version of this offense is one in which they can lessen Kelce's workload from what we saw last year. One where Xavier Worthy is your answer against man coverage primarily, which we saw in the second half of last season. And when you face zone, you can split targets between Travis Kelce and Rashee Rice, who was really outstanding against zone in the second half of his rookie year. But he's not going to be playing, which means that Kelce is going to have to be an answer for Mahomes against those looks early on. I think one way that they can help him, and I've been a bit of a broken record on this, is if the run game can just be a bit more explosive than it was last year when they were the least explosive rushing attack in football. This Chiefs offense is going to use a lot of 2-3 tight end sets, and if they can run the ball, I think they can get Kelce favorable matchups, create space for him to work underneath, and not put too much pressure on him to be what he was earlier in his career.
Yeah, I think there's 3 things that come to mind that would make Kelce's life easier and make him more productive over the course of this, what maybe is his final season. You mentioned getting favorable matchups for him, and I'd start there in terms of not having him chip as much because the Chiefs did upgrade at tackle this offseason with Josh Simmons coming in, Jalen Moore. They feel good about their tackles now, and so Kelce, who did chip a lot in that Super Bowl, unfortunately not very successfully, now he can maybe get into more stacks, more bunches. Maybe you make his life easier that way. And give him more free releases off the line of scrimmage, get him into the route combinations a little quicker. And then on top of that, you're looking at, spotting him a little more. Obviously, you want him to play as much as possible, but, spotting him in the red zone, spotting him on third downs, making sure when you absolutely need him to get open, he is fresh and ready to go. And then the snap count for him last year went up. He'd been going down almost 4 or 5 consecutive years in a row from 95% down to 77%. Last year, he played 84% of the offensive snaps. I think they'd like to use their other tight ends more, maybe more three-wide sets once they get Rashee Rice back, and a little less of Kelce.
That high snap count, yet the 35-year-old Kelce remains extremely durable for the position. 11 straight seasons. Fantasy, it is very much reality. Micah Parsons moves to Green Bay. We've looked at this from vantage points in Wisconsin and North Texas. What about the rest of the NFC East? Parsons is now former division. Wishing him the best with a genuine smile. You can start with Giants QB Russell Wilson, who tweeted, quote, "You know, Micah Parsons, I went to Wisconsin. Anything you need in Wisco, packing your bags, moving company, just let me know." Basically carrying his stuff out the door. Giants first-round pick, fellow Nittany Lion, number 11, Abdul Carter, also got in on the fun. 47 M's. Let me hold something, brother. New on NFL Live, Brian Schottenheimer, days after saying he expected to have Parsons week 1, today knows Parsons is gone for good.
I'm never going to change who I am. I understand what we've been tasked with from the minute I took this job. We're the Dallas Cowboys. I'm the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. And I stared right down the barrel of the gun and said, hey, I want to win a Super Bowl. And so that doesn't change. You work and you get excited about the pieces that we've added. Mike is part of our family. That doesn't change. When you leave the team, it doesn't. Zach Martin's still part of the family, it doesn't change. And it makes me happy that, those guys are still going to be close. Shoot, we see them here in a couple weeks, right? It's like, that'll be one that it'll be a ball.
Todd Archer joins us now from the Cowboys facility. And Todd, man, you've tracked the tension of this contract stalemate for some time. What's the mood like today in Frisco?
Yeah, I think the players, they were shocked. They were surprised. Those are two of the words you heard from players. But I don't think there was any resignation. They're glad there's a resolution to this, so it's not something they have to continue answering for over the weekend as they get ready to play Philadelphia in all that comes with the opener. You look at what Micah has meant to this team. Obviously, he's meant a lot. He let the players in the defensive line chat group know that the trade was going down. Other players found out similarly through text messages with other teammates. Brian Schottenheimer talked to a number of the leaders on the team to let him know, and he said he had candid conversations with those guys. I talked to one veteran outside the locker room, and he said, look, we got to win with who we have, and I think we have enough. So we'll see who's right here as the Cowboys get ready for the Eagles and then the following 15 games of the season.
Well, they have that calendar circled 6 days against the Eagles. We can circle the calendar week 4. Packers come to town with Micah Parsons on Sunday Night Football. Todd Archer, thanks so much. On Dallas socials, we got doom and gloom reminiscent of that Luka trade. Bill Barnwell, is there any glass half full point of view that Cowboys fans should consider?
Oh, you gave me a tough assignment here for glass half full. I'll go with this. The Cowboys' run defense was terrible in that 23 loss to the Packers in the postseason and during the 2024 season. And Kenny Clark is a very good run defender. It's going to make a big difference in short yardage and in the red zone. The Cowboys allowed opposing teams to score on 75% of their red zone trips last year. Not just the worst mark in football, but the 5th worst mark since 2000. The Cowboys run defensively better, their red zone defensively better. Well, they'll just be missing one of the best players in football in the process.
Bill's acting like he doesn't have 2,000 words on this on ESPN.com right now. Mina, Packers fans thrilled today, now to many NFC North co-favorites, but give us a glass half empty approach. What could cause these Packers to come up short?
What's that face? Okay, so I'm very high on the Packers. You guys heard earlier I said they're Super Bowl contenders, but if I do have one concern, it's this, the cornerback room, which frankly is something you could say about a lot of teams around the NFL. But this group of corners, you've got Keyshawn Nixon, they added Nate Hobbs, who has done his best work in the slot. Carrington Valentine's played for them. It's not a group of world beaters, and you saw that last year when they didn't get pressure, the defense did struggle. I have good news, though. They're going to get a lot of pressure this year with Micah Parsons, so that should mitigate the pass defense to some degree. But, when you're going up against the likes of Justin Jefferson and Amon-Ra St. Brown in your division, the cornerback depth is a concern.
To support your point, only one team last season had fewer pass breakups than the Packers, but not for lack of effort. From 2012 to 2014, they went first-round defense 12 times, most in the NFL. Hey, while we're feeling